Well, I can tell you that everybody in the locker room was devastated. As long as the term devastated doesn't mean finished for good, but you know, in that moment, when you put, you know, so much of who you are and time and all of those things into something you believe and you want it so badly, and it doesn't end up happening when it certainly could have, you know, it's a painful deal, to be honest with you, emotionally. But our guys are incredibly resilient. They have great resolve. And you know, when you have the 24 hours and you get back together and you start moving into the next week, you really don't have, you do have a choice, I guess, but we don't. You don't have a choice. There's no other way to respond other than, you know, we're going to try to go 1-0 this week. It's
only the second time in NCAA FBS history the team has gone to overtime with the same opponent 3 straight times. One, it says something for the character of both teams to battle that hard, but two, do you see any similarities between any of the 3 games, looking back at it now?
I think they're probably different in most ways. And we were up 21-0 2 years ago here, and you know, we're really dominating the game. And they had a couple of explosive plays in the third quarter and ended up coming back, beat us in overtime. Last year with, I think, 8 minutes and some seconds, we were still up by 14 points. They had an explosive play to their tight end on a double move, blocked our punt, tied it up. We went down the field, got the ball on the 25-yard line for a 42-yard field goal with no time left and missed it, and then they beat us in overtime. And then obviously this year, after, you know, not being able to produce offensively after the very beginning of the game, our last 2 drives gave us a chance to kick field goals to try to tie the game to go in overtime, which we did the second time. You know, and then obviously had our chances in overtime, but didn't get it done. So I think, you know, they're similar in that they're 3 overtime games and in a row versus the same opponent. They came back twice, we came back once, but you know, they ended up getting all of them, which is, you know, hard to stomach.
Unfortunately, you've had a lot of practice in overtime now. How much does it change play calling to be confined to that 25-yard area?
Well, I told our team this. I really like our process about how we attack overtime. We talk about it and practice it in camp. We have a system about how we get ready for it and how we go about everything prior to, you know, whether it's an offensive play or a defensive play in the first snap, and then obviously it's red zone, you know, defense and red zone offense. You know, got to make plays, you know, to win the game. But I like and believe in our process. I've won overtime games before. I just haven't done it here at Eastern Michigan. And I told our guys, you know, yesterday as well, we're going to be in another overtime game this year, or games. I don't know. I mean, we're a tough, competitive team that's never going to give in or give up. And there's a lot of good football teams in our league, and just believe there's going to be a lot of close games. And so, you know, that's something that we're going to have to break through.
You mentioned guys making plays. Defensively, your guys left everything out there on the field. They held them to 70 yards in the second half of regulation. And you look at guys like Kyle Rockwall, Vince Calhoun, and Brody Hoying. What were they able to do?
So, you know, Coach Nethery made a point to our staff when we were reviewing the game. One of our linebackers, Jalen Pickett, played 92 plays and had one what we would call a loaf, you know, where it wasn't the kind of run to the ball or hustle that, you know, was up to our standard. 92 plays and had one. Our defense played incredibly hard, you know. Our plan, because they are, you know, so multiple and do so many different things. You know, it wasn't to try to be complicated, but to play our base defense, and to be simple in our approach, but to play really hard and to play well. And you know, that's exactly what we did on D. Super proud of their effort.
Special teams wise, Jake Julian, the MAC West Division Special Teams Player of the Week, has to punt 9 times, but helped you again flip the field a couple times when they had you pinned deep.
Yeah, you know, that's our punt team has become a strength. Plenty of work to do. I mean, I think he's had a better game this season than this one, and we certainly don't want him punting 9 times. But here's a guy who, you know, we got the summer before last season, sort of an emergency situation, and we're really only comfortable with him rugby punting, and really challenged him to be more than that coming into this season, and he's definitely more than that. You know, he's a really good punter now, and that, I believe, is the most important play in football. And so it's made us better.
You start your run of rivalry games this weekend, going out to Kalamazoo. They're coming off a 1-point road win. What have you seen out of the Broncos? Yeah,
I watched that game last night. It was a heck of a game, heck of a comeback by Western Michigan. You know, and to win a game like that, it obviously takes, you know, all 3 phases. Miami returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, so they were down, you know, right off the bat on the road, down by 2 scores at one point, and scratched and clawed, coming back, converted on a 4th and 5, converted on a 4th and 10. You know, they were doing it in the air and on the ground. You know, and then defensively, you know, they're very active, move a lot, aren't a team that's just going to sit, you know, and say you're not going to move me, and can get in and out of man coverages and zone coverages and different looks. And so, I mean, again, it's going to be, you know, to some degree at this point for me, just knowing what I know and my perception coming into the league, to some degree, it doesn't matter who we're playing each week. Every team's going to be good, you know, and it's just about us, you know, breaking through and playing consistent winning football all the way through. This is going to be another good team, you know, at home for their homecoming game, a team that we haven't beaten since I've been here. Lost to them in overtime, unnecessarily, last year. So be another challenge.
You've certainly taken part in a lot of rivalry games. You've now been part of this rivalry 4 times. You've played Central 4 times. It's kind of that unique triangle of having 3 rivalries that not a whole lot of places ever see.
Yeah, and I mean, from my time here, I don't know that Western or Central really consider us a rival, at least not like I'm used to, you know, and so, you know, it is what it is. You know, we obviously recruit against those guys, and you know, they're in state, pretty familiar with them and whatnot. We can't control what other people think and, you know, say or do, but I know that, you know, our plan is to absolutely be at our best this week.
Looking at what you did last week against NIU, for the first time you were returning kickoffs. What were you seeing that really worked there, and is that something that you're hoping to continue with? That you were really big on, why wouldn't we start at the 25 if we could? What was different last week, and what are you going to do moving forward?
That is like top secret information. I just know this, that if we average anywhere less than the 25-yard line, shame on us. And we're not. I don't think that we included starting on the 50-yard line from San Diego State when Carthel recovered their errant squib, which would have significantly helped our average as well. But I think this game, I think our average starting field position was the 26 something. So that's good. But anything less than 25 is no bueno.